Little romances. Oh, I like the sound of that. There was a young girl of Aberystwyth, who took grain to the mill to get grist with. The miller's son, Jack, laid her flat on her back and united the organs they pissed with. Let's read that again. There was a young girl of Aberystwyth who took grain to the mill to get grist with. The miller's son, Jack, laid her flat on her back and united the organs they pissed with. How romantic. 1927 to 1941. There was a young lady of Arden, the tool of whose swain wouldn't harden. Said she with a frown, I've been sadly let down by the tool of a fool in a garden. 1941. Pearl Harbor. December 7th, day that will live in infamy. Here's number 3. I didn't say number 1 and number 2, but now I'm saying number 3. So here we go with number 3. There once was a yokel of Beaconsfield, engaged to look after the deacon's field, but he lurked in the ditches and diddled the bitches, who happened to cross that antique's field. Oh, they're grasping at straws with that one, aren't they? Let's take it from the top again. There once was a yokel of Beaconsfield, engaged to look after the deacon's field, but he lurked in the ditches and diddled the bitches who happened to cross that antique's field. 1941. Ooh. Number 4. There's a charming young lady named Bulio, who's often been screwed by yours truly. Oops. I'm getting excited. I guess it's pronounced bully. It's I-E-U. Sounds French. Français. Oui. Here we go. There's a charming young lady named Bully, who's often been screwed by yours truly. Now I'm becoming aroused. But now it's appalling. My balls always fallin'. I fear that I fucked her. Oh, did you hear that? The electronic beep beeps. I fear that I fucked her unduly. Let's read it again. There's a charming young lady named Bully, who's often been screwed by yours truly. But now it's appallin', my balls always fall in. I fear that I fucked her unduly. 1941. My voice changed a little bit. Hey, let's go back to the other voice. Here's number 5. There was a young girl in Berlin who was fucked by an elderly Finn. Though he diddled his best and fucked her with zest, she kept asking, Hey, Pop, is it in? Sound like a young American boy. 1927 to 1941. I wooed a stewed nude in Bermuda. This is number 6. I wooed a stewed nude in Bermuda. I was lewd, but my God, she was lewder. She said it was crude to be wooed in the nude. I pursued her, subdued her, and screwed her. Find her, fuck her, forget her. What's that song by the Mentors? Oh, the 4F Club. Feel her, find her, fuck her, forget her. Kind of like this. Let's read it again, number 6. I wooed a stewed nude in Bermuda. I was lewd, but my God, she was lewder. She said it was crude to be wooed in the nude. I pursued her, subdued her, and screwed her. Yes, attaboy. Yes. Divide and conquer and all that. 1941 to 1952. What up, Doc? All right, here we are with number 7. There was a young lady of Bychester who was nicer by far than her sister. The sister would giggle and wiggle and jiggle. Ew, that tickles. But this one would come if you kissed her. That's my kind of girl. 1941 to 1952. Number 8. There once was a son of a bitch, neither clever nor handsome nor rich. Yet the girls he would dazzle and fuck to a frazzle, and then ditch them, the son of a bitch. That son of a bitch, he fucked my daughter, he ditched my little son of a bitch. Maybe I should do that voice. Number 8 again. There once was a son of my beach, neither clever nor handsome nor rich, yet the girls he would dazzle, and the fucker to a frazzle, and then a ditch about a son of my beach. 1941. 1941. Number 9. There was a young fellow named Blaine. I never cared for that name. And he screwed some disgusting old Jane. She was ugly and smelly, with an awful pot belly, but, well, they were caught in the rain. Yes, well, 1941, you can't be critical of the fellow. They were caught in the rain. He needed to get his groove on. Here we are, number 10. There was a young sailor from Brighton, who remarked to his girl, "You're a tight one." She replied, "'Pon my soul, you're in the wrong hole. There's plenty of room in the right one." 1882 to 1943, circa. C. 11. A lacklustre lady of Brome weaveth all night at her loom. Anon she doth blench when her lord and his wench pull a chain in the neighbouring room. Choo-choo, here come a train. Train, train, take me on out of this town. That's 1942. Here we go with number 12. A middle-aged codger named Bruin found his love life completely a ruin, for he flirted with flirts, wearing pants and no skirts, and he never got in for no screwin'. Poor, poor codger. 1946. A. 13. There was a young fellow of Burma, whose betrothed had good reason to murmur. But now that he's married, he's been using cantharides, and the root of their love is much firmer. Cantharides? Cantharides? Married, cantharides. Cantharides. I'll have to look it up. I don't know what it means. It must be something like boner pills, like Cialis, to make his penile much more turgid, penile tumescence, etc. Here we go with 14. Less science, more acting. There was a young fellow from Cal, in bed with a passionate gal. He leapt from the bed, to the toilet he sped. Said the gal, "What about me, old pal?" Actually, it's probably like, "What about me, old pal? What about me, old pal?" Maybe had a problem. Yes, 15. There was a young man from Calcutta who was heard in his beard to mutter, "If her Bartholin glands don't respond to my hands, I'm afraid I shall have to use butter." 1947B. Reminds me of that movie, The Last Tango in Paris, with, what's his name, Marlon Brando, and the stick of butter and the young lady. Well, when in doubt, use the butter. Or butt hair, as I like to pronounce it. 16. There once was a kiddie named Carr, 2 R's, caught a man on top of his mare. Or is it care and mare? As he saw him sticker, he said with a snicker, "You do it much faster than par." Oh, I get it, ma and pa, mare and pear. Yes. There once was a kiddie named Care, who caught a man on top of his mare. As he saw him sticker, he said with a snicker, "You do it much faster than pear." 1927. There was a young... Take 2 on 17. There was a young fellow named Charteris, put his hand where his young lady's garter is. Lady's garter is. There was a young fellow named Charter is, who put his hand where his young lady's garter is. Said she, I don't mind. And up higher you'll find the place where my fucker and farter is. I love that lady. I'd like to get with her, as the kids say. 1927 to 1941. 18. A young woman got married at Chester. Her mother she kissed and she blessed her. Says she, you're in luck. He's a stunning good fuck, for I've had him myself down in Leicester. Well, what more than your mother's blessing or endorsement can you get or need? Yes, lovely. If you can't keep it in the pants, keep it in the family, is what I always say. 19. For the 10th time, dull Daphnes, said Chloe. Oh, wait, wrong voice. For the 10th time, dull Daphnes, said Chloe, you have told me my bosom is snowy. You have made much fine verse on each part of my... Oh. You have made much fine verse on each part of my person. Now do something, there's a good boy. Boy. For the 10th time, dull Daphnes, said... Oh, Daphnis, there must be a man's name. For the 10th time, dull Daphnis, said Chloe, you've told me my bosom is snowy. You've made much fine verse on each part of my person. Now do something, there's a good boy. I don't know about that one. 1942. 20. A maiden who wrote of big cities, some songs full of love, fun, and pities, sold her stuff at the shop of a musical wop who played with a soft little titties. Oh, that sounds nice. Nice little titties. No better titty than a soft little titty. 21. There once was a gouty old colonel who grew glum when the Take 2. There once was a gouty old colonel who grew glum when the weather grew vernal, and he cried in his tiffin for his prick, 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 prick wouldn't stiffen, and the size of the thing was infernal. Oh, excuse me, my dinner's repeating. One more time, all the way through. 21. There once was a gouty old colonel who grew glum when the weather grew vernal, and he cried in his tiffin for his prick wouldn't stiffen, and the size of the thing was infernal. 1941. Did you notice size was italicized? Get it? I made a fun. What was that? I heard another noise on the computer. 22. A lady, while dining at Crewe, found an elephant's whang in her stew. Said the waiter, don't shout and don't wave it about, or the others will all want one too. Waiter, there's a fly in my soup. That's no fly, that's an elephant wiener. 23. There was a young lady of D who went down to the river to pee. A man in a punt put his hand on her cunt, and God, how I wish it was me. 1870 to 1941. 24 rhymes with whore, shut the door. I never have had Mr. Four, but it wouldn't have been quite so raw if she'd only said no when I wanted her so, but she didn't. She laughed and said, no. Yes, it was raw, all right. Coming in hot. It's like Top Gun. Coming in hot, Maverick Goose. I'm in on a flat spin. All right, where are we? 25. A beautiful belle of Del Norte, or Norte, A beautiful belle of Del Norte is reckoned disdainful and haughty, because during the day she says, "Boys, keep away," but she fucks in the gloaming like 40. Arr. I'm doing a pirate voice, I don't know why. A beautiful belle of Del Norte is reckoned disdainful and haughty, because during the day she says, "Boys, keep away," but she fucks in the gloaming like 40. Arr. Gloaming, I think that means the dark, or something like that. 26. A young man by a girl was desired. To give her the thrills she required, but he died of old age ere his cock could assuage the volcanic desire it inspired. Oh, I like that one. A young man by a girl was desired to give her the thrills she required, but he died of old age ere his cock could assuage the volcanic desire it inspired. One more time. A young man by a girl was desired to give her the thrills this is difficult. A young man by a girl was desired to give her the thrills she required, but he died of old age ere his cock could assuage the volcanic desire it inspired. 1941. That was wonderful. Very rewarding to read that. 27. There was a young lady of Dover, whose passion was such that it drove her to cry when you came, "Oh dear, what a shame! Well, now we shall have to start over." 1941. Oh, motorcycle in the background. Yes, we must have loud motorcycles in the background. 28. There was a young man of Dumfries who said to his girl, "If you please, it would give me great bliss if while playing with this you would pay some attention to these." I think I know what he's talking about. Play with my bits and pieces. All right. 29. There was a young lady of Ealing, and her lover before her was kneeling. Said she, "Dearest Jim, take your hand off my quim. I much prefer fucking to feeling." My kind of girl. 1870. There was a young lady of Ealing, and her lover before her was kneeling. Said she, "Dearest Jim, take your hand off my quim. I much prefer fucking to feeling." All right, and here's number 30. We'll wind up tonight with 30. A lonely young lad of Eton used always to sleep with the heat on, till he ran into a lass who showed him her ass. Now they sleep with only a sheet on. Heat on. A lonely young lad of Eton used always to sleep with the heat on, till he ran into a lass who showed him her ass. Now they sleep with only a sheet on. Love it. 1943.